For my research paper, I chose to look at the effects of protein supplementation that it has on the body and whether or not we're overdoing it by using such products such as protein shakes and energy bars on a daily basis. I first looked at what protein is and how it helps the body, and then I investigated what these supplements do and how using too much protein throughout the day may be harmful to your overall health. So, looking into what protein does for our body, we already know it helps to build muscle and bone structure. And just like carbs, they are considered a macronutrient, meaning that we need a larger amount of it to stay healthy throughout the day. However, our bodies do not store protein as it does with fats and carbohydrates, so proteins need to be consumed throughout the day to keep refueled. So with the protein supplements on the market today, and with the on the go lifestyle many of us have adopted, it's easy to get a quick fix from these products. I know personally, I tend to go towards a protein shake when I'm working just because it's easiest, rather than go and cook something or have to go out and eat something. It's just a quick little shake and I'm good to go. However, there are many arguments out there that state that we can potentially go above the maximum of our protein intake with these kind of supplements. And of course, if you're eating protein throughout the day, like eggs and chicken and all that kind of great stuff, mixed into the daily diets, it tends to be a little bit of a maximum that we're hitting. So, because we're such a busy world and everything, considering how much protein an individual needs, I looked at the side effects of protein supplements and if the supplements are actually helping to restore and build muscle, or if they're just, keeping us fueled throughout the day. And that kind of determined whether or not this argument proves to be true or not. So, looking at this quote, as per Health Canada's guidelines, your protein intake should not make up more than about 30% of your daily calories. And it's even said that 15% will provide most of us with enough protein to last the day. So, with the quote provided, it states that the recommended daily allowance for protein is 0.36 grams per pound of body weight. If I'm looking at how much protein I should be eating daily, I would be looking around probably 42, 43 grams daily. But of course, this is going to differ from each individual as we don't weigh the same and we all have different levels of activity. Based upon that, I've got the 42 to 43, but I'm working out every day. So I'm needing to refuel more often than someone who isn't working out every day for an hour or so. And of course, those who are athletic, like I just mentioned, daily would obviously increase their protein intake, but even sports nutritionists have only recommended that even athletes should be intaking no more than twice the daily recommended allowance. So if you're already eating a balanced diet and getting that protein intake from the food alone, adding supplements on top of this could end up possibly causing issues to your health. So do these supplements actually aid in protein intake? It's true that protein is required to build muscle as well as aiding with numerous other functions in the body. However, when I looked at bodybuilding.com, they stated that there is a limit to how much muscle growth can occur no matter how much protein you're consuming. So eating protein alone is obviously not going to increase muscle, and to build muscle, you'll need to use the protein consumed that you're doing. So simply consuming the protein bars and powders to gain the muscle and get your protein intake all at the same time won't result in anything but possible health risks. So most individuals easily obtain their protein intake from food sources, and there's no need to supplement with shakes and bars at that point. But like he said, you can always have too much of anything, really. Doesn't matter if it's food or protein. But overloading on protein is more common in athletes and bodybuilders, especially those who are using the powders multiple times a day, in addition to the other protein they're getting from their diet, of course. So without regular activity, an increase in protein could obviously affect your health several ways. Most of it's pretty negative, actually. So most nutrients have a certain level an individual can consume in a day before experiencing any negative effects, obviously. So eating too much protein is actually stated that over time it can lead to kidney problems as well as some sort of bone loss. Because protein is a very big molecule that your body has to break down, overloading on protein puts unnecessary pressure on the kidneys. High levels of protein intake can also generate a large amount of acid in the body. So then the kidney will try and restore the balance of acid by excreting more acid, also causing a calcium deficiency in the bones, which can also increase the risk of osteoporosis if this occurs over time frequently. Other downfalls to consuming too much protein would be obviously that if the intake of protein is more than needed, it won't be burned and instead will be stored in the body and obviously leads to weight gain. So, mainly consuming too much protein may make you eat less of other important nutrients, making your diet unbalanced. Sorry, and with an unbalanced diet, obviously there's more things that can be attributed to health effects. Obviously, with an unbalanced diet, you could be looking at different health problems rather than your kidney or your bones or anything like that. So in the end, the types of protein you eat and when obviously matter the most. In the end, again, it's stated that the types of protein that you eat are obviously the ones that matter most. So, as per the dietary guidelines, the average individual is eating enough protein. They just may not be getting it from the best sources, is what they're stating. So, many individuals, especially boys and men, are getting too much of it from the supplements and red meats, and not enough from things like seafood and beans and vegetables and everything like that. So, eating a variety of protein is obviously going to ensure that you're not missing out on other nutrients that these protein dense foods can give. So with that being said, with so many protein bars and supplements and shakes on the market, it's kind of been hammered into our heads that protein is the wonder nutrient, which obviously is fair in stating so, but obviously not the only nutrient that we're needing throughout the day. So though these products are great for those who actively in the gym or are involved in activities daily, it just may not be the option for those who are not. So instead of spacing out protein intake throughout the day, would help enhance protein effects on the muscles rather than getting it all in one shot and everything like that. So what I looked at was, research is showing that protein should be spread throughout the day rather than the majority being consumed at one meal, which is what a lot of us tend to do if we're on the go and busy. We just want to get it in us and not have to worry about it for the rest of the day. But with that being said, what I think is it really depends on the person. Of course, you kind of know your limits, but if you're active daily and everything and you're looking at all the intake that you're doing throughout the day, then obviously you're quite conscious of how much you're intaking and whatnot, because protein is important in one's diet, but there's always limitation dependent on the individual's needs. So with that being said, that's my presentation and I hope you enjoyed it. And here's just a list of my references and everything that I used throughout my paper, and thank you once again.